I'm not crying, I whispered, blinking fast. It's just the wind. Melanie snorted. We're indoors, Elena. I tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. Right. Nerves, maybe. You look stunning. Like a dream bride. Ready? Ready as I'll ever be. She adjusted my veil one last time, her hands trembling slightly. Daniel's lucky. He says I'm the lucky one. She paused. You believe that? I didn't answer. Instead, I looked down at my dress, tracing the lace with trembling fingers. The music started. My cue. Go get your forever, Melanie. Whispered, squeezing my hand. I walked down the aisle, all eyes on me. Smiles, flashing cameras, whispers. But all I saw was Daniel, tall, perfect, smiling like he belonged in a movie. You look beautiful, he said as I reached him. You showed up. That's a start, I joked, trying to breathe. His smile didn't reach his eyes. You'll need more than that, Mrs. Carter. Mrs. Carter. The priest started speaking, words blurred. My heart pounded louder than the organ. Do you take this? Man. I do, I said too quickly. Daniel's turn. He didn't hesitate. I do. No emotion. Just words. We kissed. Polite. Cold. People clapped. Cameras clicked. I smiled like it was real. At the reception, Melanie danced beside me, champagne in hand. You did it. Married. Rich. Gorgeous. What now? Build forever, I replied, staring at the ring on my finger. Just make sure he's building it, too, she said, her voice quieter. I frowned. You think he's not? I think you love him more than he loves you. That's not true, I snapped. He married me. Okay, she said quickly. Maybe I'm wrong. Daniel appeared, offering his hand. Dance with me? Always, I smiled. We swayed under twinkling lights. You're happy? He asked, not looking at me. Of course, aren't you? He didn't answer, just kept moving. You didn't say I love you today, I said. He shrugged. Everyone already knows. Why repeat it? It matters. To you, maybe. That stung, but I smiled. You're just tired. He didn't reply. His eyes wandered toward a woman in a red dress across the room. I followed his gaze. Do you know her? No, he said too fast. Why? You were staring. I wasn't. You were? He let go of my waist. Can we not do this now? Do what? Start drama. It's our wedding day. I just asked a question. And I answered. I stepped back. Fine. He walked off without a word. I stood there, smiling for the guests, dying inside. Later, I found him laughing with her, the red dress woman, leaning in close, whispering. Melanie appeared beside me. Want to get some air? I nodded. We stepped onto the balcony. The night air was crisp. My heart wasn't. You okay? She asked. Perfect. Elena, I said I'm fine. You deserve someone who's obsessed with you, she said. He married me, Mel. That doesn't mean he loves you the way you love him. I blinked fast. Stop. I worry. He chose me. That's enough, she sighed. Okay. Back inside, Daniel raised a toast. To Elena, my wife, my partner, the woman who changed my life. Changed. Like I was a new job, a better apartment, not a person. Say something, someone whispered. I'm just happy, I said, lifting my glass. The rest of the night blurred. Smiles, noise, laughter. In the hotel suite, I slipped off my heels and sat on the bed. Did you like the wedding? He poured himself a drink. Looked expensive. It was beautiful, he nodded. Sure. You didn't dance with me much. I was talking to guests. To the woman in red? He paused. Are you jealous already? I'm not blind. Then act like a wife, not a detective. Ouch. I love you, Daniel. He sipped his drink. Thanks. Thanks. I turned away, hiding my tears in the dark. The bed felt too big. He got under the covers without touching me. I stared at the ceiling. Why does it feel like we're strangers? No reply. I said, I'm tired. Silence wrapped around me like ice. I touched my ring again. It felt wrong now, too heavy, too cold. Everyone said we looked perfect. But perfect is a lie people tell themselves. He kissed me in public, smiled on cue, but in the quiet, when no one was watching, he became someone else. Maybe he always was, and I was just too in love to see it. Where are you going? I asked, leaning against the doorframe. Daniel didn't look up from his phone. Work, you know that. It's Sunday. There's a meeting. Investors don't take weekends off. I crossed my arms. You didn't even have breakfast. He grabbed his keys. I'll eat on the way. You said that yesterday. Elena, he snapped, do we really have to do this every morning? I just want time, a conversation, maybe even a kiss goodbye. He sighed like I was a burden. I'll be back late. Don't wait up. He was gone before I could answer. The silence swallowed the apartment again. Melanie called a few hours later. How's married life? Glorious, I said flatly. That bad, huh? He doesn't come home until after midnight. Sometimes he doesn't come home at all. You think he's cheating? I don't know, I whispered. But something's wrong. She paused. Want me to come over? No, I'll be fine. Later that night, I picked up his blazer from the floor. I wasn't snooping. I was cleaning, but then I saw it. A faint red smear on the collar. Lipstick, not my shade, not even close. I sat on the bed, blazer in my lap, heart pounding. My stomach flipped. When he walked in 2 hours later, I met him at the door. You're home. Didn't expect a welcome party? I found lipstick. He raised an eyebrow. What? On your collar. It wasn't mine. Oh, that? One of the clients hugged me. Harmless. Hugged you with her lips? He rolled his eyes. Seriously? You're being paranoid. I'm being honest. You're being dramatic, he said, brushing past me. Let it go. Daniel. I'm tired, Elena. Don't start. And just like that, the conversation was over. I stood in front of the bathroom mirror that night, holding a wet cloth. My face looked wrong. Pale. Hollow. Who are you? I whispered to my reflection. I used to know. Now I wasn't sure. His wife, I muttered, and it tasted bitter in my mouth. Melanie came over the next day with wine and her usual no-filter energy. You look like a ghost. Thanks. I mean it. What's going on? I think he's cheating. Oh, honey. I don't have proof, just signs, coldness, lipstick, lies. What are you going to do? I don't know. You used to be fierce. You'd never let someone treat you like this. That was before I became this. She touched my hand. You're still you. Just buried. I looked down. I miss her. You can find her again. I didn't believe her. That night, I cooked his favorite pasta, lit candles, put on red lipstick. When he walked in, he barely looked up. Smells good, he said, loosening his tie. I thought we could eat together. Later. I need to take a call. But the food... Later, Elena. The door shut behind him. The candles burned. The pasta grew cold, and I just sat there, staring at the empty chair across from me. The next morning, I looked in the mirror again. Same hollow eyes, same tired face. Smile, I told myself. I forced one. It cracked instantly. Daniel walked in, adjusting his cufflinks. I'm going to the gym. At 6 a.m.? Yeah, you don't even work out. He laughed dryly. New year, new me. Do you even like me anymore? I blurted. He paused. What kind of question is that? An honest one. You're exhausting sometimes. I flinched. Then leave. He scoffed. You'd like that, wouldn't you? No, I'd like the man I married to come back. He grabbed his bag. Then stop being so clingy. Clingy. I stood in front of the mirror for an hour after he left, pulling at my skin, smoothing my hair, reapplying lipstick. Maybe if I looked better, smiled more, stayed quieter. No. Stop. This isn't who I am, or, was it? I barely spoke to anyone that week. Melanie texted. I ignored her. I stayed inside, wearing his shirts, replaying our vows in my head like lullabies, for better or worse. Was this worse, or just the truth? One evening, I opened our wedding album. His smile looked genuine. Was it fake back then, too? Photos slipped out from the back cover. One I hadn't seen. Daniel, with a woman, holding a baby. The photo was old, the edges curled, but the date on the back was from 6 months ago. My hands trembled. I ran to the mirror, looked myself dead in the eye. Elena, I whispered, wake up. Where are you going tonight? I asked casually, pretending to flip through a magazine. Work dinner, Daniel replied, adjusting his watch. Late one, don't wait up. At the Ridge, right? He froze. Yeah. Why? I shrugged. Just curious. He leaned down and kissed my cheek like nothing was wrong. See you tomorrow, babe. I smiled. Have fun. As soon as the door clicked shut, I grabbed my coat and keys. I didn't know what I was looking for. I just knew I couldn't keep living in shadows. I waited 15 minutes before following him. My heart raced like it already knew the truth I wasn't ready to see. He didn't go to the Ridge. He went to a quiet neighborhood across town, parked like he'd done it 100 times. I watched him walk up to a small yellow house with white trim. The door opened, and there she was, young, pretty, soft curls and bright eyes. She smiled like she loved him, and he smiled back, genuine. Warm, the smile I hadn't seen in months. A little boy ran out and jumped into his arms. Daddy! I gasped so hard I almost choked. Daniel laughed. There's my champ. I sank lower in my seat, hand clamped over my mouth. Another woman, a child, a life. He wasn't cheating. He was living a whole other truth. I pulled out my phone and started snapping pictures. Every hug, every kiss, every smile, proof, not just of infidelity, but of betrayal so deep it scraped my soul raw. They went inside together, like a family. I sat there staring at the door, numb and shaking. My phone buzzed, a text from him, working late, love you. I stared at the screen until it blurred. I didn't reply. I drove home in silence. The next morning, he strolled in like nothing happened. Morning, he said, stretching. I forced a smile. Coffee? God, yes, you're the best. I handed him the mug and studied him. How easily he lied. How calmly he wore his mask. Did the dinner go well? I asked. Yeah, productive. Good, I'm glad. He sipped. You okay? Perfect. He kissed my forehead. I don't deserve you. I nearly laughed. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling, fists clenched, brain spinning. He had a son, a second woman, a secret life, and I was just the placeholder, the backup plan. Why? Me? I whispered into the dark. Why marry me? I sat up and looked in the mirror across the room, the same one I'd cried in front of so many times. But something was different now. I wasn't crying. I wasn't breaking. I was burning. The next morning, I went through his drawers. Quiet, fast. Controlled, bank statements, receipts, hidden envelopes. Things I'd never noticed before, because I trusted him. Foolish. He came home early that evening. Hey, he said, loosening his tie. You look nice. Thanks. Going somewhere? No, just felt like dressing up. He smirked. I like it. I smiled sweetly. I'm glad. He reached for me. I stepped back. You okay? He asked. I'm great, I said. Really, I'm Changing. He raised an eyebrow. Changing? You'll see. That night, I copied every photo onto a flash drive. I scanned the documents, labeled every file. Melanie texted again. Still breathing? Need wine or revenge? Texted back. Both, but mostly revenge. She replied with 3 fire emojis and, I'm in. The next few days, I played perfect wife, polished, smiling, calm. He didn't suspect a thing. At night, I practiced what I'd say when the time came. Rehearsed. Every line. Every look, but I wasn't ready yet. I needed to build something first. I stood in the mirror again, but this time, I didn't see the broken woman. I saw a new version of me. Sharper. Stronger. Smarter. Elena. I whispered. The real one. No. More tears. No more begging. I wasn't his wife anymore, not in my mind. I was his karma, and he had no idea what was coming. Hi, I'm Lila. You must be Rachel? She smiled warmly. Yes, so glad you could meet. I hate these mommy meetups alone. I shook her hand. No worries, I needed a new circle anyway. She laughed. We're all just barely surviving motherhood. Come, sit. Coffee's on me. I sat across from her, watching her tuck a loose curl behind her ear. Innocent. Clueless. She had no idea. So what does your husband do? She asked, sipping her latte. Finance, I lied easily. Always traveling. She nodded. Same. Daniel's barely home some weeks. I forced a smile. Daniel, huh? Lucky girl. She beamed. He's amazing with Ryan. I don't know how I'd do it alone. My heart twisted. You're doing great, I can tell. She blushed. Thanks. You too, you seem grounded. Grounded? I was floating between rage and revenge. I got home and called the PI. Got anything? Working on it, but your photos already prove a lot. He's living a double life. Dig deeper, I said. Bank accounts, properties. I want it all. You. Got it. That night, Daniel came home humming. Good day? I asked. Busy? Tiring? What's for dinner? Lasagna. Your favorite. He kissed my cheek. You're amazing. I almost laughed. I ran into someone today, I said, serving his plate. Her name's Rachel. He blinked. Rachel? Yeah. Cute kid. She said her boyfriend's name is Daniel. He froze. Fork midair. Popular name, he said too quickly. Sure is, I replied, smiling. He didn't eat much after that. Later, I texted Melanie. I met Rachel. She's sweet. I can't hate her. She replied, Of course not. He's the trash. I stared at my ceiling, wondering how many lies one man could tell. The next day, I visited Rachel again. I feel like we've been friends forever, she said, laughing. I was just thinking the same. We sat in the park, watching kids play. She turned to me suddenly. Can I tell you something weird? Sure. Sometimes I feel like Daniel hides things. He's always busy. Never lets me post pictures of us together. My jaw tightened. That doesn't sound right. I asked once if he was married before. He said no. But I don't know. I took a breath. Do you trust him? She hesitated. I want to. I looked her straight in the eyes. Then maybe you should find out for sure. Her face fell. You sound like you know something. I stayed silent. When I got home, Daniel was in the shower. I unlocked his briefcase again. More receipts. A hotel booking under another alias. Credit card charges for a jewelry store. I took pictures of everything. When he stepped out, I was in bed, pretending to scroll on my phone. Hey, he said, towel around his waist. Missed me? Always. He didn't notice the flash drive under my pillow. A week later, I met the PI again. I've got his other apartment address. Deeds, too. Bought under a dummy corporation. It's all here. He handed me a folder. I opened it and stared at the truth, black and white, cold and final. Thanks, I said. Anytime. You sure you don't want a lawyer next? Not yet. First, I need to shatter the illusion. When I left, I texted Rachel. Meet me tomorrow. There's something I need to show you. Her reply was instant. Okay. Is everything okay? No. But it would? I stood in front of the mirror, folder in one hand, phone in the other. This wasn't just revenge. This was reclamation. I wasn't Daniel's puppet anymore. I was the woman pulling the strings now. Hey, babe, I said, setting down his dinner plate. Long day? Daniel groaned. Insane. My supplier missed a shipment and the investors are breathing down my neck. I kissed his cheek. You'll figure it out. You always do, smiled, unaware I was the one who sent the anonymous tip about those fake invoices. The next morning, I called his assistant, using a voice modifier. Yes, this is urgent, I said, masking my tone. There's a discrepancy in Daniel's Q2 expenses. You might want to double-check the offshore transfers. Click. I sipped my tea and smiled. Later, I dropped a casual question over dinner. So, any news from the IRS lately? He stiffened. What? No, why would you ask that? Just saw something on the news. Random audits, I guess. He didn't eat much after that. Melanie, I whispered over the phone. He has no clue. I'm pulling threads and he doesn't even feel the web tightening. She chuckled. That's my girl. Keep weaving. The next step was trickier. Getting close to his CFO. At a charity gala, I approached him. Mr. Carver, right? I extended my hand. He looked surprised. Mrs. Winters? Pleasure. Please call me Elena. I've heard so much about you. He smirked. Hopefully good things. I laughed lightly. Depends. Daniel keeps secrets, doesn't he? His eyes narrowed. What kind of secrets? Oh, just numbers. I'm sure you'd know better. He blinked. Is there something I should be concerned about? Probably not, unless the missing funds in Dubai matter. He froze. Excuse me? I winked and walked away. Later that night, Daniel asked, Did you talk to Carver at the gala? Briefly. Why? He seemed off. Maybe he drank too much, I said, slipping into bed. He stared at the ceiling. I turned off the light and smiled in the dark. The next day, I mailed a copy of Daniel's falsified loan document to a journalist friend. Anonymously. Of course, that evening I handed him a glass of wine. To us, I said. He raised an eyebrow. To us? To surviving another quarter. He clinked his glass with mine. Barely. You should relax more. He exhaled. Tell that to the investors calling every hour. I leaned closer. Want me to make a few of those calls disappear? He laughed. You, please? Exactly. Let me stay invisible. 2 days later, he stormed into the kitchen, face pale. Someone's leaking documents, he snapped. Oh no, I gasped. Who'd do that? Internal sabotage, I think. Maybe Carver. Carver? But he's your guy. He looked away. People change. So do wives, I muttered, too low for him to hear. I started planting clues around the house, a hotel receipt under the bed, a lipstick that wasn't mine in his briefcase. One night, he held up the lipstick. Yours? I looked at it. No. Wait, is it? Must have fallen out of my purse. He tossed it aside. Probably. He didn't even question it. He never questioned me. A week later, he came home furious. They froze one of the accounts. I pretended to drop a spoon. What? Why? Some investigation. Unbelievable. I need to fly out tomorrow. Fix this. You want me to come? No. Stay. Handle things here. Perfect. Of course. I'll make sure everything's fine. That night, I dug deeper into his files. Passwords, contracts, fake shell companies. Everything was backed up on a flash drive I kept taped under the bathroom sink. I met Melanie for coffee the next morning. You sure you're not pushing too fast? She asked. I'm not pushing. I'm slicing, slowly, she smirked. And what happens when he finds out? He won't, I said. Not until I want him to. By now, Rachel knew too. I had shown her just enough. He's been playing us both, she whispered, wiping a tear. I nodded. But not for much longer. She looked at me. What are you planning? Justice. Daniel called that night from the airport. I'll be gone 3 days. Don't touch anything in the study. Of course not, I said sweetly. The second he hung up, I opened the study door. Inside was a hidden drawer behind a false panel. Receipts, keys, a burner phone. He was so careless when he thought I was. Stupid. I stared at the phone for a long time before texting a contact number I found inside. They know. Be ready. Let him panic. Let him burn. I wasn't Elena, the naive wife. I was the spider now, and Daniel had no idea he was already trapped. Where's my laptop, Elena? He barked. In your study, right where you left it. He tore through the drawers, papers flying. No, it's not. Did you touch anything? I stepped back, eyes wide. Of course not. Why would I? He spun around. Someone's been in here. Maybe your assistant, I whispered. You gave her a key, remember? He paused. She wouldn't dare, wouldn't she? I stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Daniel, what's going on? You've been acting strange lately. His voice cracked. Nothing's going on, just pressure. Work. More failed deals? He glared. Who told you that? You did. Last night. You were mumbling in your sleep. His jaw tightened. Stop listening to things that aren't there. I walked away, biting my lip to stop the grin. He was unraveling. Later that day, I visited Rachel again. She smiled when she saw me. Elena, oh wait, sorry. Emma, I'm so glad you dropped by. Needed some air, I said, hugging her. She poured tea. Daniel's been distant lately, I nodded. Men in business get like that, especially when things aren't going well. She blinked. Not going well? Oh, I played innocent. You didn't know. Sorry, I assumed you knew about the audit. Audit? Her hand trembled. Maybe I misunderstood. I just overheard him yelling on the phone. Something about fraud and investigators. I paused. But I could be wrong. No, he mentioned something last week. I just didn't think it was serious. It usually is. She looked down. He told me everything was fine. I touched her hand. Then maybe it is. Men just keep secrets sometimes. Her eyes flickered. The seed was planted. That night, Daniel stormed in, slamming the door. Why did you call my office? I blinked. What? I didn't. They said a woman asked about financial statements. I tilted my head. Why would I care about your finances? He paced. I'm being watched. I know it. I reached for him. Maybe you're just stressed? He pulled away. No, someone's feeding information. I forced a frown. Daniel, are you okay? He stared at me like I was poison. You're too calm. Too quiet lately, like you're hiding something. I stepped back. I'm trying to help you. By sneaking around? By asking questions? You're scaring me, I whispered. He laughed bitterly. Good. Maybe you should be scared. Maybe you're the curse. Silence fell like a hammer. I stared at him, heart thudding, and then I laughed. Not softly, not nervously, loud, sharp. His face twisted. What the hell is so funny? You, I said, wiping a tear. Finally seeing what you've become. His voice dropped. You've changed. No, I said, stepping closer. I woke up. He flinched like I'd slapped him. I turned my back and walked out of the room. Behind me, glass shattered. The next day, I bought flowers and placed them on the kitchen counter like nothing had happened. He walked in, bloodshot eyes scanning the petals. What are those for? He muttered. Peace, I said. Or a funeral. You choose. He didn't reply. He just sat, staring blankly at his phone. Another deal had fallen through. Another client had backed out. Another account frozen. Melanie called me that afternoon. He's losing control, she said. I know. He threatened anyone at the firm who talks to the press. He should be scared. What's next? Truth, I said. Bit by bit. I texted Rachel later. Hey, I'm worried about Daniel. Did he ever tell you about the Miami transfer? She responded within minutes. No. What's that? Might be nothing, but if he asks you to sign anything, don't. Please. Later. That night, he stood over our bed, breathing heavy. I know what you're doing, he said. I looked up. Do you? His hand curled into a fist. You think you're smarter than me? No, I said. I know I am. His eyes burned. I gave you everything. No. You gave me lies, Daniel, and I fed them to you until you choked. He trembled. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Not anger, not arrogance. Fear. He turned and stormed out. I sat in the silence, staring, at the cracks in the ceiling. His world was falling apart, and I had the matchbox in my hand. Knock, knock. I opened the door, and there she stood, Rachel, hair wild, eyes red, holding something in her trembling hand. You lied to me, she said. No hello, no hesitation. I nodded. I know. She stepped inside. You knew all along. You sat in my home. You drank my tea. I did, I said calmly. And I'm sorry, but you deserve the truth. She threw a folder on the floor. Bank transfers, emails, hotel receipts. How long, Elena? Too long, I said. Too damn long. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? She looked away. Exactly, I whispered. You loved him, so did I. And we were both just names on a checklist to him. The door slammed behind her. Daniel appeared at the top of the stairs, his voice groggy. What the hell is going on? Rachel stormed up to him. You think I'm stupid? Rachel, wait. She slapped him. I didn't stop her. You said you loved me, she shouted. He stammered, I did. It was complicated. No, it was calculated. I stepped forward. She's not the only one who deserves answers. Elena, don't, he warned. I already have, I said, pulling out a flash drive. What's that? Your biography, I said. Unedited. He took a step back. I invited everyone, I added. Your parents, my parents, your business partners. You should change your shirt. What did you do? Truth, Daniel, I said. Tonight's show is called Every Lie You Told. The living room buzzed with tension. His father stared at me, confused. His mother clutched a rosary. My mother whispered, Are you sure about this? Yes, I said. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Daniel stood near the fireplace, sweating. I turned on the screen. The first slide lit up. Account number 3948, Cayman Islands. Gasps. This, I began, is where Daniel hid money Rachel helped him earn. She didn't know, of course. Just like I didn't know about the second mortgage on our house. Daniel stepped forward. Stop it, Elena, stop. I raised a hand. Not yet. Next slide, emails to a third woman in Paris. She was fun, I said coldly. So were the dinners, the hotels, the necklace. Please, he muttered. Please don't do this. Why? I snapped. Because the audience is too big now? Rachel looked like she might faint. Slide after slide, I kept going. The fake charity, the falsified contracts, the threats he sent to silence a junior employee. I let it all play. No music, just silence, just shame. When it ended, no one moved. Daniel dropped to his knees. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. You meant every lie, I said. You just didn't think you'd get caught. He looked up at me. I love you. No, I said. You loved control. I was just the body that held it. Elena. You married the storm, Daniel, I said, stepping closer. You just didn't see the lightning. His father stood up. We'll never forgive this, His mother looked away, ashamed. My father walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder. You did the right thing. Rachel whispered, I can't believe I let him near my child. I took her hand. You're not alone anymore. Daniel sobbed on the floor, crumbling like the empire he tried to build on lies. I turned to everyone. Thank you for coming. The show's over. And I walked out, heels echoing like thunder. Daniel was gone. Not literally, but everything that made him Daniel was stripped away. No job, no money, no family. Just a hollow shell. I sat across from him in that dim cafe, watching the man who used to be untouchable spiral down. Not with anger or satisfaction, just calm. I wasn't here to gloat anymore. Not revenge. Closure. I leaned forward. How does it feel? Losing everything? He looked up, eyes dull. It's quiet. Too quiet. Like the noise just stopped. Good. Maybe that's what you needed. Silence. He scoffed, then gave a bitter smile. You think I wanted this? I didn't plan it. None of it. You didn't plan to break me either, I said softly. Daniel's face flickered with something. Regret? Pain? I couldn't tell. You always made me feel like the villain, like I was the monster. And you were, I said. But it's not just your story. His brow furrowed. What do you mean? I pulled out my phone. I talked to Rachel. Daniel's expression tightened. Rachel? What does she have to do with this? She was trapped, just like I was. You didn't just hurt me, you hurt her too. He said nothing. I kept going. Rachel told me something I wasn't ready to hear. She thanked me. Thanked you? His voice cracked. For freeing her, I said quietly. From you. From what you made her live through. Daniel's hands clenched into fists. I didn't mean for it to go that far. Meaning doesn't change what you did, I said. Or who you were. He stared at the table, shaking his head. I'm empty now, like the king with no crown. That's the truth you have to live with. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The cafe buzzed around us, but we were trapped in that bubble of silence. Then Daniel looked up. Do you hate me? The question hit me harder than I expected. Not anymore, I said. I'm tired of hating you. He blinked, surprised. Why? Because I realized something, I told him. We're both survivors. He frowned. Survivors? Yeah. You and me. Rachel, too. We're the ones who lived through it. He laughed, a hollow, broken sound. I don't feel like a survivor. You don't have to, I said gently. Not yet, but you could start. Daniel stared at me like I was crazy. Why would you care? After everything? Because I was once the girl you tried to break, I said. And now I'm the woman who won't let you in. His eyes flickered with something new. Maybe respect. Maybe sorrow. I'm not here to destroy you, I said. I'm here to let go. Daniel swallowed hard. How do you let go of someone like me? I shrugged. By seeing the truth. You didn't need me to fall. You did it yourself. He looked down, voice barely a whisper. I destroyed myself. And that's the end of your story, I said. Not mine. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. Thank you, I showed Daniel. See? She's free. He nodded slowly. Maybe I deserve this. The emptiness, the silence. Maybe, I said, but that emptiness doesn't belong to me anymore. He looked up, eyes clear for the first time. What will you do now? I smiled, a real one. Live, heal, find peace. Daniel chuckled softly. Sounds like a good plan. I stood, ready to leave. It's more than a plan. It's my future. As I walked away, I didn't look back. Not out of anger, but because I didn't need to. Daniel was already his own downfall, and I was finally free. I remember the moment I decided to leave Daniel. It wasn't sudden. It was quiet, like a soft voice finally cutting through the noise inside my head. I'm leaving, I told him one morning, voice steady but soft. He looked up from his coffee, confused. Leaving? Where? Anywhere but here, I said. Anywhere but with you. His face twisted. Is this about Rachel, or… No, I interrupted. It's about me, about who I used to be. He scoffed. You think you can just walk away, start over? Watch me, I said, standing taller than I felt. Packing my bags wasn't easy. Each shirt, each book was a memory. But I told myself, this is my life now. In the new city, everything was strange and thrilling. The air smelled different. The streets weren't familiar. I was anonymous. Free, I enrolled in design classes, something I'd abandoned for him. One afternoon, my teacher asked, "Why design?" I smiled, surprised. Because I want to create something beautiful, starting. With myself, she nodded. Good answer. At night, I'd sketch ideas, colors, patterns swirling under my pencil. It felt like breathing again. One evening, my new friend Mia caught me laughing. Really laughing. You okay? She asked. I nodded, feeling warmth inside. Yeah, I forgot what this felt like. Fake or real? She teased. Real. The kind that bubbles up and takes over. Mia grinned. Good. You deserve that. But sometimes, late at night, the past whispered back. I'd lie awake, hearing Daniel's voice in my mind. You're nothing without me. I'd shut my eyes tighter. No, I am everything with me. The scars inside me felt heavy some days, but I didn't hide them anymore. One morning, my therapist asked, "What do you see when you look in the mirror?" I hesitated. A woman who survived, who was broken but didn't stay that way. She smiled. That's powerful. It was true. I wore my scars like armor. They reminded me of pain, yes, but also of strength. One day, I ran into an old classmate. Elena, she said, eyes wide. Is that really you? I laughed softly. It is. She smiled warmly. You look happy. I nodded. I am. How'd you get here? She asked. By letting go, I said. By choosing me. That was my secret. Choosing myself. When I called Rachel, she said, I see you changing. Becoming who you're meant to be. I'm still learning, I admitted. But I'm not lost anymore. She paused. Me neither. Sometimes I catch myself smiling at nothing, thinking, I'm okay. Not because the past is gone, but because I'm stronger than it now. I met someone new, not to replace, but to remind me I deserve happiness. He asked, what do you want? I didn't hesitate. To live, fully. To be me again. He smiled. Then let's start. I looked in the mirror that morning, really looked, not at the girl who was his wife, or his pawn, but at the woman who survived betrayal and made it her. Power! That woman is me, and I'm just getting started.